As China sea tensions explode, the Philippines deploys its powerful BRP Miguel Malvar warship into dangerous disputed waters, triggering alarming confrontations with Chinese vessels and raising fears of a massive regional crisis. With military alliances strengthening and naval patrols intensifying, the Indo-Pacific now faces one of its most volatile moments yet. The Philippines has taken another major step in strengthening its military presence in the West Philippine Sea as tensions with China continue to rise across the South China Sea. At the center of this latest development is the deployment of the BRP Miguel Malvar, one of the most advanced warships ever added to the Philippine Navy. The move comes during a period of growing confrontations in disputed waters where Chinese and Philippine vessels have repeatedly faced off near strategic maritime territories. For the Philippines, the arrival of the BRP Miguel Malvar is far more than a military upgrade. It has quickly become a symbol of the country's growing determination to defend its sovereignty, protect Filipino fishermen, and strengthen its position in one of the world's most contested regions. Guided missile frigate was officially commissioned as part of the Philippine Navy's modernization program. Built by South Korea's Hyundai Heavy Industries, the vessel is equipped with advanced radar systems, anti-ship capabilities, anti-submarine warfare technology, and modern combat management systems designed for high-risk maritime operations. Military officials say the warship gives the Philippine Navy significantly stronger operational capabilities compared to the older vessels that previously formed the backbone of the country's fleet. For decades, the Philippine Navy struggled with aging ships and limited defense resources, but rising tensions in the South China Sea have pushed Manila to accelerate military modernization efforts at an unprecedented pace. Now, the Philippines is beginning to field modern naval assets capable of operating alongside advanced allied forces during multinational exercises and maritime patrols. The deployment of BRP Miguel Malvar comes at a critical time for regional security. The South China Sea remains one of the world's busiest trade routes and one of Asia's most dangerous geopolitical flashpoints. Multiple countries, including the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and China, maintain overlapping territorial claims across the region. China continues to assert sweeping claims covering nearly the entire South China Sea, despite a 2016 international arbitration ruling that rejected Beijing's expansive maritime claims under international law. In recent months, encounters between Philippine and Chinese vessels have become increasingly tense near disputed areas such as Scarborough Shoal and Sabina Shoal. Philippine authorities have repeatedly accused Chinese Coast Guard and naval ships of dangerous maneuvers, blocking operations, and aggressive patrols inside waters claimed by Manila. Several confrontations involving water cannons and close-range maritime encounters have drawn international attention and raised concerns about the possibility of accidental conflict. One recent incident became particularly alarming after Philippine defense officials accused a Chinese naval vessel of directing fire control radar toward the BRP Miguel Malvar during a patrol mission near disputed territory. Military experts describe the use of fire control radar as a serious escalation because it can indicate targeting preparation before possible weapons deployment. Philippine naval officials said the crew immediately responded through radio communications to prevent the situation from escalating further. Security analysts warn that as more warships, Coast Guard vessels, and military aircraft operate in close proximity across contested waters, the risk of miscalculation continues to increase. Even a relatively minor confrontation could rapidly spiral into a larger regional crisis if tensions are not carefully managed. Despite those risks, the Philippines continues to strengthen its maritime defense posture. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has repeatedly emphasized that the country will not back down when it comes to defending Philippine sovereignty and territorial rights under international law. At the same time, Manila has intense 5 military modernization efforts while expanding security partnerships with allied nations, including the United States, Japan, Australia, and India. The BRP Miguel Malvar recently participated in multinational maritime drills involving allied forces operating across the Indo-Pacific region. Military officials say the exercises focused on maritime security, coordinated patrol operations, defensive response strategies, and improving interoperability between allied navies. Philippine authorities also confirmed that Chinese naval vessels and aircraft closely monitored several of these military drills from nearby waters. Growing military activity reflects how strategically important the South China Sea has become for regional and global powers. The waterway is not only a major shipping corridor used for trillions of dollars in annual trade, but it is also believed to contain significant oil and gas reserves that could become increasingly important for future energy security. For Phil, Filipino fishermen operating near disputed waters, the tensions are already having direct consequences. Many fishermen have reported harassment and dangerous encounters involving larger Chinese Coast Guard vessels near traditional fishing grounds around Scarborough Shoal. Some say they fear entering certain areas because of the possibility of confrontation at sea. These incidents have fueled growing public support inside the Philippines for stronger naval protection and increased military readiness. Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. has repeatedly stressed the importance of strengthening the country's maritime deterrence capabilities amid what Philippine officials describe as growing regional threats. Under the current modernization plan, the Philippine military is investing heavily in naval assets, missile systems, radar networks, coastal defense infrastructure, and surveillance technology. The BRP Miguel Malvar is expected to become a central component of that broader strategy. Military analysts believe the frigate gives the Philippines a much stronger operational presence in contested waters. Equipped with advanced sensors and guided missile technology, the vessel is capable of monitoring threats, conducting extended patrol missions, and supporting allied maritime operations across the Indo-Pacific region. Its deployment also carries strong political symbolism. By operating a more capable Navy, Manila is demonstrating that it intends to actively defend its maritime interests rather than relying solely on diplomatic protests. The Philippines has also significantly expanded defense coordination with the United States in recent years. Joint military exercises between both countries have grown in size and complexity, involving advanced missile systems, maritime patrol aircraft, and coordinated naval operations throughout the region. Washington continues to reaffirm its defense commitments to the Philippines under their long-standing mutual defense treaty. China, however, has strongly criticized Manila's expanding military cooperation with Western allies. Chinese officials accuse the Philippines of escalating regional tensions by increasing foreign military access and participating in larger multinational defense activities near disputed waters. Beijing maintains that its actions in the South China Sea are lawful and necessary to protect Chinese sovereignty. Philippine officials reject those claims and insist that Chinese vessels have repeatedly violated international norms through aggressive maritime behavior near Philippine-controlled waters and economic zones. As strategic competition between major powers intensifies, the South China Sea is increasingly becoming a focal point of wider geopolitical rivalry across the Indo-Pacific region. Countries throughout Asia are rapidly increasing defense spending and strengthening military partnerships in response to growing maritime tensions. Japan has expanded security cooperation with Southeast Asian and Asians. Australia has increased regional naval patrols. India has also become more involved in Indo-Pacific maritime security initiatives alongside allied forces. The Philippines now finds itself at the center of this evolving strategic environment. Military observers say Manila's expanding defense relationships could significantly improve regional deterrence capabilities while strengthening allied coordination during potential security emergencies. Still, analysts caution that military modernization alone cannot resolve the underlying territorial disputes. Diplomatic negotiations and regional cooperation will remain essential for preventing open conflict in the South China Sea. Philippine officials continue emphasizing that they are pursuing peace and stability while defending national interests. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has consistently maintained that the Philippines seeks cooperation, not confrontation, but insists the country will continue protecting its sovereign rights, international law. Meanwhile, China continues expanding its military presence throughout disputed waters. Chinese Coast Guard ships and naval vessels regularly patrol contested reefs, shoals, and maritime zones claimed by neighboring countries. Beijing has also constructed military infrastructure on artificial islands across the South China Sea, further strengthening its strategic presence in the region. This expanding military footprint remains a major source of concern for neighboring states and international security analysts. For the Philippine Navy, the BRP Miguel Malvar represents a major turning point in the country's maritime defense strategy. The vessel's advanced systems allow it to conduct longer patrol operations, monitor maritime activity more effectively, and coordinate closely with allied fleets during multinational exercises and security missions. Naval commanders believe the frigate will become a key asset in future sovereignty patrols, maritime surveillance, operati, and rapid response deployments in contested waters. Its presence alone is intended to demonstrate that the Philippines is prepared to defend its territorial waters while supporting a rules-based regional order. Additional modernization projects are already planned under the Philippine government's long-term military development program. More advanced frigates, patrol vessels, missile systems, and surveillance platforms are expected to enter service over the coming years as Manila continues upgrading its armed forces. For the Philippines, this modernization effort is not only about military strength, but also about protecting economic security and maritime resources critical to the nation's future. The South China Sea contains valuable fishing grounds that support thousands of Filipino families and coastal communities. By increasing its naval capabilities, the Philippines hopes to improve its ability to protect these strategic waters and maintain access to critical maritime resource. As named after Filipino revolutionary leader General Miguel Malvar, the warship carries deep national significance for many Filipinos. The vessel has quickly become a symbol of national resilience during a period of growing geopolitical uncertainty and rising regional tensions. The deployment of the BRP Miguel Malvar therefore marks more than simply the arrival of a new warship. It represents the Philippines' broader transformation into a more capable maritime power determined to defend its sovereignty, strengthen regional partnerships, and respond to growing security challenges in the Indo-Pacific. And as patrols continue, alliances deepen, and confrontations at sea remain unresolved, the BRP Miguel Malvar is expected to remain at the center of the Philippines' maritime strategy for years to come.